Good day, grade 3 students. Welcome to math class. How are you? I hope you enjoyed answering your math activities at home. For today's topic 13, lesson 7, entitled Whole Numbers and Fractions, on pages 709 to 712. For this lesson, we will need your math book, a pencil, a ruler, and fraction strips if you have. Now we have the lesson objective. You can say, I can use fraction names to represent whole numbers. But first, let's have a review of the previous lesson. It's review time. Let's start with compare. Write greater than, less than, or equal to symbols. Use fraction strips to help. Number 1, 2/3 blank 1/3. What symbol will you use? Less than, greater than, or equal to? Next, number 2, 3/5 blank 5/5. What symbol will you use? Greater than, less than, or equal to? Number 3, 3/6 blank 1/2. What symbol will you use? Greater than, less than, or equal to? Are you done? Good job. Okay, let's see if your answers are correct. Now, for number 1, we can see that the fractions are like fractions. Why are they like fractions? Because they have the same denominator. Now, if they have the same denominator, it's very easy for us to see which is greater or which is less than. Okay, just simply look at the numerator. Now we have 2/3. What is the numerator of the fraction 2/3? The numerator is 2. Good job. Now, for 1/3, the numerator is 1, 1. Okay, now as you can see, you have 2 is greater than 1, therefore 2/3 is greater than 1/3. Did you get the right answer? Good. Now for number 2 is still what we call like fractions. Why? Because the denominators are the same. Both have 5 as the denominator. Now let's look at 3/5. The numerator is 3, and on the other hand, we have 5/5. The numerator is 5. So which is greater? 5 is greater than 3, meaning to say 3/5 is less than 5/5. Did you get it right? Good job. I know you got it. Next, number 3. We have 3/6 is blank 1/2. These two fractions are called unlike fractions, if you remember. Why are they unlike fractions? Because the denominators are not the same. So here, for 3/6, the denominator is 6, and for 1/2, the denominator is 2. You are not going to look at the numerator this time. What are you going to do? You can use the fraction strips at the side. Okay, so notice that we have one whole here, and followed by 1/2. Next, followed by 1/6. Okay, so as you can see, we have here 1/2 until here, and you can see that 3/6 is until here. Do they have the same point? Yes, they have the same point. So meaning to say the parts are equal, thus 3/6 is equal to 1/2. And another technique so that it's easy for you to know if the fraction is greater than or less than the other fraction. How? Let's take a look at this. For example, let's use the same example. We have 3/6 is blank 1/2. Okay, how are you going to do this one? Just simply cross multiply the numbers. So cross multiply 6 times 1 is equal to 6. Now, 2 times 3 is equal to 6 also. Now they have the same numbers. Since they have the same numbers, meaning to say both of the fractions are equal. Very easy, isn't it? Good job, grade 3. Okay, now let us have first the vocabulary words that you might be using for this lesson. First, let's have whole numbers. What are whole numbers? They are regular numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. They are also known as counting numbers. Repeat after me, whole numbers. Can you say one whole number? Good job. Next, another word is fractions. Repeat after me, fractions. Okay, so fractions are parts of a whole. For example, okay, so we have here 1/3. Okay, a fraction has two parts. We have the upper number. This number 1 is called the numerator. And the lower number, this number 3, is called the denominator. Good job. Now you are ready to have the lesson. Okay, now before we are going to proceed, let us first watch a video so that you will further understand how you can use fraction names to represent whole numbers. Okay, so sit back and enjoy the video. You may take down notes so that you will remember after. Okay, so the video goes like this.
For 1, 2, and 3. Let's find out how many holes does the number line show. Each hole is divided into how many parts? The number line shows 3 holes. Each hole is divided into 1 equal part. You can write a whole number as a fraction by writing the whole number as the numerator and 1 as the denominator. Any hole divided into 1 equal part can be written as 1 equal part. 2 holes each divided into 1 equal part can be written as 2 over 1. 3 holes each divided into 1 equal part can be written as 3 over 1. There are many fraction names for whole numbers. What is another fraction name as 1? You can find other equivalent fraction names for whole numbers. Is there a pattern for finding equivalent fraction names for a large number? Can you let me know? Yes. Write the whole number as the numerator and 1 as the denominator to find the equivalent fraction name. To find others, multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number first. Now you know how you can use fraction names to represent whole numbers.
So I suppose you have understood the video that you have just watched. Now, let us go to the essential question on your book on page 710. We have here, how can you use fraction names to represent whole numbers? Always remember this one, grade 3 students. You can write a whole number as a fraction by writing the whole number as the numerator and 1 as the denominator. Now, what are some equivalent fraction names for 1, 2, and 3? We have here 1 is equal to, or 1 whole divided into 1 equal part can be written as 1, 1. 2 wholes, each divided into 1 equal part, can be written as 2, 1. And 3 wholes, each divided into 1 equal part, can be written as 3, 1. There are many fraction names for whole numbers. What is another fraction names for 1? You can find other equivalent fraction names for whole numbers. Okay, before we are going to proceed, we are going to watch another video for further explanation on how you can represent whole numbers using fraction names. Here we go.
The essential understanding for this lesson is whole numbers can be represented by many different fraction names. Previously, students found that a fractional amount can be represented by many equivalent fractions. In this lesson, students find there are also many equivalent fractions that can represent whole numbers. This problem is key because students are asked to complete two fractions that are equivalent to the whole number 2. They are encouraged to use a number line to help, if needed. Listen and look for students who draw a number line that shows the whole number 2. They see that each whole is divided into one equal part, so they understand that one fraction name for 2 has the denominator 1. And because there are two of these equal parts in the whole number 2, the numerator of this fraction is 2. The other fraction that the problem asks students to complete has 3 as its denominator, so these students divide each whole into thirds and label them. They find that 6/3 is another equivalent fraction name for 2. Listen and look for other students who use reasoning to write the equivalent fractions. To complete the fraction that has the denominator 3, these students may think that there are 3 1/3 in one whole. So, there are 2 times 3, or 6 1/3 in two wholes. This means that 6/3 is equivalent to the whole number 2. To complete the fraction that has the denominator 1, these students may think that each whole has one equal part. So, there are 2 equal parts in two wholes. They write the numerator 2. To help all of the students understand that there are many different fraction names for each whole number, you may want to ask them to use number lines or reasoning to find other fraction names for 2. This understanding will help students later on as they represent fractional amounts greater than one whole as mixed numbers.
Find other equivalent fraction names for whole numbers. Question: is there a pattern for finding equivalent fraction names for a whole number? Yes. Write the whole number as the numerator and 1 as the denominator to find an equivalent fraction name. To find others, multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number. As we can see here in the number line, we have the whole numbers 1, 2, and 3. And as you can see, the equivalent fractions of 1 is 2/2 and 4/4. Now, the equivalent fractions for 2 are 4/2 and 8/4. And the equivalent fractions for 3 are 6/2 and 12/4. It's very easy to see it in the number line. Now, how are we going to tell it in the other way? Simply, you're going to multiply 1, 1 to it's the same number to get the equivalent fractions. So let's just say, for example, you're multiplying the numerator 1 with a 2 and the denominator 1 with a 2 also. So 1 times 2 is 2 and 1 times 2 is still 2. Okay, another. Let's multiply 2, 2 or 2/2 to 2 again. So 2 times 2, and we also have here 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, and the denominator 2 times 2 is 4. So meaning to say 1 is equivalent to 1, 1 and to 2, 2 or 2/2 and to 4/4. Do you get that? Okay, let's go to the convince me part. We have here, what equivalent fraction names can you write for 4 using denominators of 1, 2, or 4? You have 1 minute to do that. You may pause the video while you're doing that, and once you're done, you can play it again. All right? Okay, are you done? Now we have here, always remember that the whole number is 4, correct? And the denominators for the equivalent fractions are 1, 2, and 4. Okay, so we have here just simple as you're going to think of 4. Okay, we have 4 over 1, which is equal to or equivalent to the whole 4. Now multiply 4, 1 to 2 to get another equivalent fraction. So 4 times 2 and 1 times 2. 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8, and 1 times 2 is 2. Okay, so we have here one last numerator, missing numerator. What are we going to multiply to 8 to get to another numerator? We already know that the denominator, the next denominator is 4. So what did you multiply to 2 to make it 4? So you multiplied 2 to 2 to get 4. Hence, we're going to multiply the numerator 8 with a 2 also. So 8 times 2. 8 times 2 is 16. So, hence, the answers or the equivalent fractions for the whole number 4 is or are 4, 1, 8 half, and 16, 4. Did you get the correct answer? Good job, grade 3. It's very easy, isn't it? All right. Okay, now you know how you can use fraction names to represent whole numbers. Thank you for watching this video, grade 3 students, and enjoy answering your math activities. This is just the first part. Please check out also the second part. Thank you once again and have a great day.